Welcome, marvelous makers,
and art appreciators,
to the ArtSpace podcast,
brought to you by Lemon Street Gallery and ArtSpace,
located at 4601 Sheridan Road.
Stroll on in to your favorite citrus-themed art gallery today, if it's open.
Yes.
Don't stroll in if it's closed.
Yeah.
That would be a felony.
Oh, goodness. And I'm your host, Shelby Nesbitt.
And I'm Jake Hoy.
And today we are with the delightful designer, Mike G.
Hey, nice intro. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining us,
you.
Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. This is cool. This is super exciting.
Oh, yay.
We've been having a fun time already.
Yes.
Yeah. We've been sat here telling jokes. It's good.
I feel like I've known Mike for like 10 years.
I love it.
Instant connection. Yeah.
We had some technical difficulties. A cord needed to be swapped,
We're here.
but
Yeah.
we're alive.
And a
Hey.
straw needed to be swapped too. I'm bringing it
Oh,
up.
God.
I'm
This-
jumping right into
Ladies
the
and
straw.
gentlemen, this is the straw episode. I'm just going to let you know I have a very large straw. Maybe it'll sneak into one of our photos that we post on social media.
It's
But
got to.
Make sure it does.
I had good intentions with this straw. It was to minimize noise from ice banging around in my water bottle, which is metal, as I drink from it. I don't need to move it now, but there is a very large red straw protruding from the top.
He's looking like an anteater over here.
Shelby is perturbed by it. So if you hear any giggles randomly when there's not a funny thing happening, I'm probably drinking from my very long 28-inch straw.
You look like a hummingbird or something. Just
Yeah, it's good. It's a
It's
contraption.
hilarious. Yes.
It's like a Six Flags. Like you win it. Yeah, like you win it from the bald man at the,
Or
at
you
the
went to
dancing bald man.
Vegas, got those really long daiquiris.
Yeah,
It's one of those. Yep.
It's a prank straw, like, almost.
No, it's funny. I love it. I
So
love it.
enough about the straw.
Yeah.
How was your day? Just checking in with you. And,
Good. Yeah,
Good.
good. Busy.
Awesome.
Just been working today. Yeah, normal day.
You're a
Same
busy
here.
guy. I
Okay.
mean, holy moly.
I try to be. Yeah. You know, it's but it's fun. It's all fun, busy. It's like I get that comment a lot, and I'm like, but I'm having fun. I'm drawing. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do. Yeah, it's not like I'm just at a boring job saying I'm busy. I'm having a great time. So
I understand that completely.
Yeah, Shelby.
yeah.
They tell me all the time, just like, oh gosh, you have so much going on. I'm like, I'm kind of having fun along the
Yeah.
way. So
Shelby does
whatever.
all these great designs for our social media and everything and stickers and stuff like that. And
nah.
she gets a ton of compliments, deservedly so, on
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah, we were just talking about it. They're sweet. Yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
thank you guys.
but she secretly enjoys it. So
Dun dun dun.
Don't let them know.
well, it's out there now.
Oh God. So we're just giggly off the start.
We're
We've
having
had a
fun.
break.
We've learned about Shelby. Loves
Yes.
designing, hates straws.
Yes. But yet I have a little straw of my own.
A very modest straw,
Very, very modest.
as it should be.
So it's coming out of the bottle for like half an inch.
Yeah. My modest straw. Oh my.
She just looked at the straw.
It's
There was the
just
giggle.
massive.
That's funny.
So let's get back into straws. I mean, art.
I know a question that's not on here, but I think I want to start asking.
Oh, we're
this
going off script.
Stripped.
Oh,
Script.
Yes.
let's do it.
Straw.
Do it.
Strip.
Off-roading, baby.
Let's go.
Let's do
How
it.
would you describe your style?
Oh.
I know it's a heavy question. I was thinking about it. I'm like, how do you describe?
Like a chameleon, really.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. It's fun being able to at least try to do everything. Like I get prompts from like bootleg rap t-shirts to cartoons to like gritty metal t-shirts like every week. And that's like to fit in all those boxes is so exciting. So it's everything. It's really everything. But I think as far as like my personal style goes, of what I love is like that thick, like black, like line work with bright colors like that. I could do that every single day. Like I bleed that, like, you know, but like a chameleon mostly. Yeah. As far as how I work. Yeah.
Being in freelance, I understand that. Yes.
Yeah.
I was describing, because my girlfriend will say like, "Oh, who you got on the podcast?" I'm like, "Oh, we got Mike G," and she's like, "What is he like?" I'm like, "He's cool." I guess I would say, and that was the word I came up to describe you. It was just cool style.
Hey, and that's cool of you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Makes cool things. Look at it. Look, check out his Instagram. That's all I can
I
say.
dare you to go on his Instagram and say he's not cool. It's impossible.
You
I
can't.
appreciate that. I will say there is a downfall of that though. Like it's hard to show consistency at first glance with it. Because it's like you do go on Instagram or you do, and I've tried over the last couple months to really kind of hone in on, at least you see colors right off the bat, but it's been very hard to be like, oh, look, I did this t-shirt today. And then the next one that I put out is so different that I think people don't really know how to react, because they think that it's just one lane and then they go, oh, what's this? Did he do this? I'm confused.
Yeah.
And
Who is this?
And it slows down that like, I'm obsessed with branding, but it slows down branding. It truly does. So it's a weird, it's this two-handed demon that I have to face of like, I love doing everything under the sun that's different, but also I understand that, and I love branding, but I understand that that's so detrimental to do so many different things, So it is funny that, you can look at all of it, and then also at the same time you're like, where's his head at half the time, So it's a double-edged sword, I guess.
Oh, I'm glad you're tackling that. It's freelancers, that's kind of like a big issue of like showcasing your portfolio, what you're doing. It's just like, I was given so many prompts. How do I make this come together? So completely understand that.
It comes from a really fun place too. I've always been into it, and then one time I worked for this artist years ago, and I went to one of his shows, and his manager was there, and I asked him, I said, "What do you look for hiring people like me?" Like, and this is like the first gig that was like a really big deal for me. And he was like, "There's people that I hire that I will hire the guy who can photograph the show, do the t-shirts, and do every tour t-shirt, even if I ask for a million things over the guy that can just do one thing." He was like, "So if you're able to do that, go for it." And I literally was just like, "Cool, I will. Yeah. And I just sat down. I was like, "All right, let's get as weird as possible." And that was probably like 6 years ago at this point. I think it was like right as I turned 21. So it was one of those things where, pivotal. And it came from someone who like I really respected. So I was like, okay, that's your word is bond,
Nice.
Yeah.
You became the total package. So.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope to. So
do the merch, the photography. You do a lot. So.
Yeah, I think that's crucial. Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Well, we can get back on track because derailing with questions.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask the first one this time, since Shelby took us off script.
'Cause I just had to ask
in a good way.
Yes, I had to ask about the personal style. So
No, I love it. I appreciate it.
So, Mike, what got you into art?
That is, when you sent these to me, it's such a hard question.
They are.
So hard,
no,
dude.
we'll take that. We'll take that note.
I've kind of have multiple answers. I mean, like,
we're gonna make it multiple choice going forward.
Yeah. Okay. So A is hopefully B is correct.
D, all of the above.
Yeah, definitely D. No, I mean, like, as a kid, I feel like I don't want to jump ahead either because you guys are asking questions, but I feel like it ties into the second question that you guys sent me. But just as a kid, I used to color and draw. The easiest answer, right? But the first like real moment I realized like, oh my God, I love this is like I was in 3rd grade and I would go out as, with all my friends and we would pretend to be these characters and like essentially we didn't know that it was called this at the time, but we would essentially LARP, right?
LARPing,
like, yeah. And we would pretend to be these characters. And I remember we had these big woodsy playground. I went to St. Therese. And the back of St. Therese has all these.
That's a big old.
Like
it's not like a forest, but it's like a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's like the spaceship building in a bunch of trees. And as a kid, like I was obsessed with like medieval stuff and going back there and being like pretending we're playing with swords. I used to think these acorns and leaves were like, like Lord of the Rings bones. And it was just like I was trudging to Mordor, And like, so me and all my friends would play these things. And I remember telling them like, this is what I look like. I'm full of flames and like I have a bow and arrow and like, and one day I went home and I was like, I need to draw this. Like it's in my head. I need to show my friends what this looks like to them. And what they need to envision me as when we're standing there, you know?
This is important.
Yeah, it's totally important. This is me, dude. Yeah. So I went home and I drew it, and I remember I went to school the next day. I was like, this is what, and I think, I just remember a reaction of some sort probably, and being like, sweet, dude. Like, wow, like it did something, right? Like, I guess looking back now, I'm like, that's what I'm always looking for. That's what an artist does look for, you know? It's like this reaction. It's this like, I get it. So I think that was like necessarily like the first time where I was like, I think I should keep drawing, you know? But then there's tons of them on the way where it's like, I can remember one in high school. I can remember one after high school that it's like, you know, what really got me into, I just told one earlier, like what got me into doing multiple things. It's like those moments do exist, but I think that's definitely my earliest and most important. And I think it sticks with me because it's, I'm pulling things from my brain every day that I'm seeing and that I want to show people. This is what it should look like. This is what this character should look like. This is what this is what my brain inside of it really does look like. So, and exercise that muscle. So
I love that. I always, one of the things I say all the time is like, art is like a basic form of communication. And you have to take the ideas in your head and show them to other people, because some things you can't just say.
So hard.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people too, is like, it's this muscle that people are like, I can't draw, or I can't paint like that or whatever. I'm just like, but like, do you see it in your head? You kind of see it? And they're like, some of them are like, no. And I'm like, well, maybe it's going to be pretty hard for you. But the people were like, yeah, kind of. I'm like, it's just this muscle that you have to keep flexing to put it into your hand onto the paper. And that just obviously takes years, but that's why I say everybody can draw, because it's in your head, right? So pull it out. But it is a muscle. It's hard. And it's just like any language or, you know, like you said,
honing in that technique. So
even if it's not rudimentarily like good on paper, you're still doing it. So
keep on making.
Keep doing it. You can do it.
So how did you kind of come up with your character, Oliver Ouch?
Oh my God. The real answer is really so dramatic. I was just sitting in my room one day, so sad that I was alone on Valentine's Day. And like, it was just one of those things where I was like, what do I really feel like? Like, I feel kind of blue and bummed out, you know? And so I just drew him, and I was like, yeah, cool. And it was an idea that was kicking around in my head for a while. Like, the theme of a heart has always just pulled at me in a fun way. And so it kind of naturally came out that day, and then I sat on it. I was like, yeah, whatever, cool. Like, that's just a doodle in my notebook. And he looked completely different. He had like long, just long ovals for eyes, no, like without pupils or anything. It was just this very like basic, almost a smiley face looking, like your classic yellow smiley face.
Gotcha.
And so I did that. And then I'm trying to think of a timeline here. I put out a t-shirt on Instagram, like with that drawing all like finished, and it got a really good reaction, like a outstanding reaction from what I'm typically like used to. And I was like, oh my God, like, okay, this might be something here. Right. And so I sat on it, and then I put it out, and then as a t-shirt, like months and months later, it was like almost that next year. And when I put it out, it was the start of the pandemic. So the timeline is really funny, where I was like, okay, wait a second. You know, we're stuck inside. I finally have this thing that kind of feels like a hit. And it was so well receptive when I sold the t-shirts the first time and all these things. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then he naturally progressed to what you see now. But during the pandemic, it was, you know, we had everything going on here. And I painted him up in Uptown on the side of the open pantry, I think it was.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it was just like, it took on a whole new meaning. It wasn't me no longer just bummed that I was alone on Valentine's Day. It was like, this is what we're all feeling like right now. Like, this isn't just me expressing this. This is us, you know? And so it became a lot more powerful, and it's evolved since then. So
definitely captured the zeitgeist, I think, of the pandemic and everything going on here. And
it was definitely accidental, that's for sure. But I think we all have a little piece of him in it, you know. I think in him and us, you know. It's people relate to it in a funny way, you know. So.
Telling stories and showcasing lessons and stuff of equality, and just very relatable, approachable. Any age, I feel like, could even approach that kind of character and have feelings towards it. So it's
big time.
Yes.
That's the main goal. I mean, like at the end of the day, like I want it to be books and I want them to be in little books, but it's like I relate it to Charlie Brown. Like it's so like you can read it to your kid and your kid will be like, yeah, it's cute. I get it. You know, like I want books to be about like anti-bullying and all these things, because in the world that I'm creating for him, he's the only one that looks like that. And so it's like people will make fun of him or whatever. And it's like you can teach a kid not to bully through that, but also like there should be this double meaning to where when a parent reads it, they're like, oh, I relate to this too. And it's like, so I think it does cover that, like you said, and it's awesome that you point that out, because it's so totally the intention of it, you know?
Yeah. The first time I saw that image, I was like, that's from something. Like that's from like a thing. It had a little niggle in the back of my head, like there's something there. And then I realized, no, it's not. It just feels like that, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I don't know how to describe it, but
yeah, it does hit a point like that. And I feel the same way. Even though I draw them, I feel that same thing. And that's, to me, that's magical. So I appreciate that.
And the folks at home that want to see what this looks like, they can check out our socials. I'm sure we'll be sharing images of this, or
we'll probably post,
or Mike's socials as well. And please check that out. Or you could even buy a T-shirt from the band Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, we can get into it right now, or we can wait for it. But,
if you don't mind. How did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, crazy story. I mean, like the longevity of that band in my life has been since I can remember. Like
huge band.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember being in front of my TV watching MTV as like maybe 5th grade. I think it was like 2005 when City of Evil came out, and they're one of their huge hit albums, and I was sat in front of the TV looking at their music video. It was wild. It was completely like nothing I've ever seen. And as a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old, you turn around to anybody around and is like, what is this? You know? And it just stuck to me. And I listened to him for, I mean, it was like religion at that point. I was like, wow, shocking. And I mean, just, they make music that I've never heard anybody make before. It's like a color in my head that I've never seen. And it's like, so I've always been such a proponent of being like showing people them. And I'm sure all my friends and my family are so sick of hearing them, but I just, I'm such a big fan. And last year, or was it last year? Time goes by so strange.
It's hard.
Yeah, it was probably 2021-ish, somewhere in there. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I have to do a T-shirt with them. I have to do something with this. Like I was making fun art for the fun of it, just putting it on Reddit and being like, on their subreddit, and seeing what fans were saying, seeing if I could relate to them in some way, and if it fit into their world, you know, and just having fun. And then I was like, you know what? I really need to make a T-shirt. So I was putting stuff on Reddit, and I really needed to make this T-shirt. And at the time they were so private. They had no socials. It was just the band. They, you know, like one of the members had like a Twitter, and that was really it. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'll just throw it out into the void and see what will happen. So I was tweeting it, I was putting it on Instagram, and through Reddit, I got connected with someone who works for them, Courtney. I think she was their social media manager at the time, and I think she still is. I'm not entirely sure, but she does tons of things for us. She's project manager for one of their project called the Deathbats Club, and super sweet. And she was just really rooting it on. And I kept on making T-shirts. No response from the band or anything, you know, as I expected, you know. Yeah, just being like, you know, when I had downtime, I'd make T-shirts as like fan art, basically. And I'd just post them and be like, cool. And all my friends were like, yo, this is sick, you know, tagging them, doing whatever. And then one day, Courtney messaged me and she said, hey, would you want to work for Avenged Sevenfold? And I was like, I think you know the answer to that.
Do you have to ask?
Yeah. I was like, what's going on? What's, you know, tell me more. And one thing turned into the other. And yeah, they needed that cover art for the podcast that they started. And it's not only the fact that they needed artwork, but they were like, do your style, do what you want. We want this character. We want it to feel like you. Don't pretend to be anything. And Matt, their singer, told me like, hey, like, we don't want like gnarly skulls and blood. Like, we want you. We want your fun aesthetic. And that's like the most insane compliment ever, because it's like when you relate to somebody as an artist and that comes back to you from that same person, it's like this huge full circle moment of like, you're relating to my art because probably I've been relating to your art for the last however many years, you know? So it was awesome. It was really cool. Such a humbling, moment. Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. It's just one of those things that plops into your lap and you're like, my hard work and my fun has paid off.
Yeah.
And applying kind of like this fun, not like a challenge, but like not make normal fan art and just kind of experiment with art as a product in general.
Yeah.
Experimenting with that and seeing where it leads to, because that's crazy.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And trying to convey that, like all art, just trying to convey an emotion with it, And I feel like, with Oliver, he does convey emotion. And then when I did that, I sent a ton of ideas to him. And that was one of them that rang true very strong to me, because in the photo you see their logo framed in a frame, and he's sitting on a couch. And and I have basically that I have their logo framed in a huge poster above my desk. And I literally looked at it, I was like, this is what I'm looking at every day. And if I feel like Oliver some days, it's like, so it just felt the most like me. And he's like, in the photo, you can see him kind of welcoming you home and all these things. And then when you listen to their podcast, it took on a whole new beautiful meaning as far as what it is to be sad. They relate it to loss and all these things. So it worked out in a beautiful accidental way. And yeah, it was really cool.
Love to see that.
It was fun.
As Bob Ross would say, happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not even the full quote, just happy accidents.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Yes.
I'll take it.
And we'll get back into the questions when we come back from a quick break. And we are back from a little break.
We are back. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yes, and we're having fun over here interviewing Mike G, freelance designer, photographer, really cool guy. So
he does everything.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Clothing designer. Well, is that kind of all tied
freelance
in?
designer, yeah.
Sometimes it's like sometimes clothes like for real, like I've done a couple jackets with jackets and a backpack with a brand called the Loyalty Club, which are my friends in New Orleans. So sometimes it really is clothing design instead of just like graphic tees, and those are heavy projects.
We need the strap to be longer on this backpack.
Yeah. It's like real, like I've shown them like a tech pack, which is basically like your it's like a really flat drawn image of what it should look like at pretty much all angles, and then like narrowing in on the little details and everything. That's the simplest way to put it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Google
so it really
SketchUp, but for clothing.
Exactly.
Kind of.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
SketchUp?
Google SketchUp. It's like a 3D modeling program.
Okay, this is an edition of Educate Jake. I don't know if you know about this. We have a segment on our podcast called Educate Jake. I am not an artist. I am dumb, and I need to be educated. So Shelby has educated me about SketchUp.
So Google SketchUp, it's a free program. You can get like add-ons and other stuff, but basically it's a program that you can learn to 3D model. So you could do like architecture, pretty much anything. You could design like Alex, shout out to you, Alex. He uses it to design like his desk that he wants to personally build.
Oh.
He did a layout of the brick gallery so that we can figure out hanging space and stuff. So it's just measuring and making a little model.
So let's say if you're a podcaster, let's say, and you're very thirsty during the podcast, and
God.
you needed some sort of implement to drink water without making noise, you could design a very long 28-inch straw.
Yes.
Oh, great.
But you could not have it like printed or anything through that program.
No, you'd have to like do
but
something
you could
else.
design it
good
in
enough.
that program.
All right.
Looking out for your straw designs in the future, Jake.
Good to know.
Next episode is going to be crazy.
Just a little like Hot Wheels car loop to loop type of
gonna
straw.
get longer every
Oh my
episode.
gosh. No.
You're going to have an exhibit here someday of just straws. Just all
The
along
bottle's going to be like in the next room.
Yeah. Straw exhibit. Gosh dang.
That's funny.
But hopping back into the questions. Who was an influence on your art?
it's a long-winded answer,
Okay.
like as you can imagine, right? But it's like we could take kind of one influence per style, and immediately off the bat, anyone would assume Keith Haring, right? Like, and I've loved Keith for, I feel like, my entire life, and so that's why I say I think him first as far as like that impactful, meaningful art that's colorful and cartoony and all these things, but like, and then next to him Warhol, you know. And but as far as like modern things go, there's this artist named Brian Rivera who he's done everything under the sun with huge artists, but his main one was Post Malone, and I feel like I looked at him for years, just like looking at him, be like, how does he get to this place in his work? And he's really great. So I love Brian Rivera, and I love the guys from Online Ceramics, Elijah Funk and Alex Ross, I think are their names. I always forget it, but those guys are, I think, monumental in current design right now. I think what they're doing is phenomenal. And then this guy named Garrett Hilliker who does all of Halsey's artwork. And he's insane. Anything that you see from her, including like her makeup brand. I
love that design.
Yeah, everything goes through him, and he's phenomenal. I think he does just a phenomenal job at creating this very like gritty but like palatable space that you can that especially for her, like I don't know, it just feels he's created something specifically so for her. And when you see like text, you think, oh, that kind of feels like Halsey, and like really it's Garrett, and I think that's great. I love it. So I think as far as like influence goes, those guys. And then this dude named Wolf Ticket.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from Arizona. He's my homie, and he's so cool. And I've gotten so many shirts from him, and I have pieces from him hanging in my house, and I just love him. I think he's great, and he deserves all the praise and all the love because he's so cool, and his choices are really unique in my opinion. So
gotcha.
Him too. Yeah. Shout out Wolf Ticket.
Oh, well, yay.
Yeah. For the record, Mike did all that without notes. Like, that was off the dome. So mad props.
Thank you. I wrote that one down. I really did. And it did not sync to my phone. It was on my computer, but
freestyle.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I was like, I got to write these ones down. So yeah, those are the guys. Yeah.
Well, that kind of ties into our next question about some of your favorite artists. Obviously, you just listed a bunch of your favorite artists. Any local artists, like music or otherwise, anything like that?
I mean, it's such like a funny answer, but I love all my friends. I mean, all my friends are truly my favorite artists. Like, I think
that's the right answer.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, that's it. Nice. Thanks for having me. No, but truly, like I love like my best friend's Cody. He plays guitar, and we've been in bands since we've been 15. And I mean, the greatest guitarist I think I know. You know, he's phenomenal. I love him. You know, my best friend Troy takes portrait photography. He's the best. I love him. Inspiring, you know. Howie plays bass. My girl M designs clothes. I love all of it. All of them are so good at what they do, and we bounce ideas off of each other all day. I mean, I bounce ideas off of them. They don't. I mean, Howie and Cody do, but but because we're all in a band together. But it's always talks of art, and yeah, they're all my favorites. You know, it's those guys, and then obviously so many people that I could probably list. It's too long. It's too long. I feel like every single one of my friends is an artist in some right, and I love all of them truly. And that's not even like I'm rooting for all of them. That's not even lies. So yeah, those guys. And
as I say, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. Truly,
we're not in competition here.
No, really and truly. Yeah, I love it. And everybody does their respective thing too. So it's like it's not even if we wanted to be in a competition, like we could be. It's like so. It's like such a diverse team of people in their own right that it's like I've always said, like, if I could get a creative house going with like every single one of my friends, like unstoppable, like really unstoppable. And I knew like my friend Ryan, shout out Ryan McKinnon. I love him. He's so cool, and he can do anything. It's so crazy. He's been doing like 3D design for the last couple of years, and it's insane. He like builds houses and like
Holy
3D
moly.
and like people and like models and all these things. And he was showing me his project he was working on. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing it, but it was like mocking up a coffee shop for somebody.
Okay.
And it's like, it's so cool that he can do that. And it's like, I would pick him. He lives in Oregon. I would pick him. I would move him anywhere if I could. Like, you know, so it's like these people that I'm just such good friends with are, it's so cool how everybody has their own space. I love it.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yay. We love that. Surrounding yourself with artists. It's so empowering. Also being an artist, it's fuel to the fire that is the madness of creating. So
Truly.
yeah,
Truly.
love having artist friends. So.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way.
So moving into the next question, what would you say your motivation to create is?
Getting deep.
I mean, rent first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
For
but
real.
yeah, at this point in my life, for sure. But ultimately, like, just being like, man, it sounds so like, I don't know. I don't know if bloated is the right answer, but just being great at it. Like, I want to be great at it. I want to be perfect at what I do, and and to know that I'll never really achieve that is enough motivation to like get up and be like, all right, how can I make this design today so good? Like, and then I do that the next day and the next day. So it's like, it's this kind of like internal race of greatness inside of me, I guess, that is, it's just hunger, really and truly, gotcha. just a real hunger inside of me. So, I mean that, and as far as, and then on top of that, it's like, especially with Oliver, like making a difference. It's like, it has its own lanes per project, but overall just being really great at it. And then also making a huge difference with something and really impacting the space as a whole and caring about it. It's like caring about art is like, I do it because I care about it. Like I really, it's like, it's inside of me. Like I look at things, I critique. I'm a huge critic. Like I wish I wasn't, but like it's only because I care about something so deeply. So it's like I'll look at something and be like, is this really doing anything for the space? Like, is all of this, is it really impacting something? And I hope something is. So when I do my own work, I ask those same questions. And it's so yeah, it's an abundance of just caring so deeply about it that I want to be great at it, want to impact it. Period.
I 100% relate to that feeling of it's just this buildup inside of you when you're working on it, viewing it, and it's passion that's just about to explode out of you. And truly. I completely understand that 100%. Yeah. And it's a weird thing to describe because it's not like you're beating yourself up. It's just like, how do I made this last thing that was really, really cool. How do I outdo that? And like kind of climb my way up the stairs of who I am and what I'm designing. So
big time.
Totally understand that.
And passion's huge too, because it's like we kind of talked about it earlier. I think it was before we started recording, but like, or maybe it was at the top of it. I don't know. Just being busy. And people are always like, oh man, you're being busy. You get out of the house once in a while or something like that. And it's like that's what passion does though. Like it's not like I'm beating myself up. It's not like I'm hating this. It's not like it's a horrible time that I've been stuck in my room. Like, yeah, sometimes I'll complain about it. Like sometimes I'm like, I've been in my room for 4 days working on this. I just need to go and have fun. But like realistically, I say this all the time. I was really complaining over the pandemic type of time period. And I kept on saying to myself, like, I'm like stressing about my blessings, it's like, who am I to complain about this? Like, who am I to complain about the fact that I'm an artist sitting in my room and I'm able to, eat food at least from it. It's like, what am I doing complaining about this? And it is that passion. It is that like, it's not a bad day it's not a really bad day when I'm sitting there and for the 4th day in a row and I'm having a great time. Cause it's like, that's what it motivates itself, just pure passion for sure. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, go out and do something else. But it's like, well, if I were to go out and do something, I'd go do art. Yeah, exactly. So like, what do you mean go do something else?
Really, truly. It's turning like it is kind of funny how you turn your fun things into your work. But but it's all right. That's how it should be.
Passion has a way of doing that, blurring those lines of work and
you got one life.
Fun. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do it.
I totally understand that. To the nth degree. I don't know if you heard that car, but probably not. Love you, filter.
He was agreeing with us if that's the case.
Yeah, that was a strange noise, but yeah.
That's fun.
All right. Well, we're getting into the fun section of the show. At least
this whole thing has been fun.
It's all fun, but now it's going to be funner, and funner is definitely a word.
Jake's going to start juggling.
Funner.
Look at me, I'm juggling. Oh, people at home can't see.
Whoa.
Oh, you're missing straws?
Yes,
oh my God.
All straws. Your mental image at home must be crazy. All right. So next question. If time and money are no object, what's your dream project? You mentioned a creative house earlier, and I thought, that sounds like a dream project.
Yeah, I feel like that would definitely fall under one. I have so many, and then I also have like so little, kind of.
Yeah.
And I only say so little because I think I'm so hell bent on like being like nothing is not possible. Like everything is possible. You can do anything you want. Like you're an artist, create it, go do it. Like period. You say it, done. And that's really how I feel like I tend to operate 100% of the time. So it's so sometimes I feel like, oh, I'll get there eventually, but in an alternative world, an alternative timeline, definitely a dream house, a creative house. There was another one. I mean, like, I feel like a store would be fun. Like having a store would be sweet, but also like totally not at the same time. Like, because I know what comes with it. Yeah. Like my realistic brain is like, okay, you're gonna need like a lot of
brick
people,
and mortar, but without the heavy lifting and employees and
like hopefully I have an accountant at that time, and like, all these things. So it's like, but I mean, like a store would be super sweet, just because I would love to design one. I think.
What would you sell?
Probably clothes. Probably clothes.
I thought so.
And super fun, weird things too. I don't know what. I'm just saying, like.
Random one-off design or just, have
like
fun.
beach balls or something. I don't know. Just super fun. Just anything that I can come to mind. Like you can get it at that store, and like skateboards and stuff. Probably it would probably mix them with skateboarding in some way. But yeah, stuff like that. And then also, but as far as like, I answered it earlier. It's like really not even try to be sappy, but like Avenged Sevenfold was my dream project. Like at the very end of the day, like that happened, and I was like, cool. I think I can just. Anything after this is truly just fun. Like, like it sounds like morbid at the same time as celebratory, because it's like it like unlocks something in me where I'm just like, it answered that call, and I'm like, cool, sweet. Whatever else is just the best after that, because I really will not top that in my life. Like that's how meaningful it was to me. So that's why I say anything's possible if you say it out loud. Then
because you did
it. Yeah, truly. It felt impossible. Yeah. So, but yeah, alternative timeline kind of stuff.
Right.
It's the physicals, I guess. I guess that could fall into it. Yeah. Maybe living in like a castle too that I could paint in and be a hermit in. That sounds fun.
Hermit, like the opposite of the creative.
Completely opposite. Yeah. If I could just hide away in a castle somewhere in the forest, that could be fun too.
Just flip a switch and you can go in between the two and just have
That's
fun.
Exactly
There's a trapdoor system that
that can bring me right back here. Yeah.
I think this came up on a different podcast. Somebody else had a trapdoor house involved in their dream
Saint
project.
Tragedy.
Saint Tragedy.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm into it. Yeah. They can have a wing. I'll have a wing of the house, and we can.
It's all connected.
Yeah, we can split it
out in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, it's a big enough castle. Yeah.
Love that. So what is like a funny comment or a funny story that you've heard about your art?
This is one I had no answer to. Okay. I feel like I've never heard something too funny.
Or maybe like a memorable, like it doesn't have to be like a joke.
Like a joke, yeah. No, I really couldn't. I really could not find one. I mean, it's always been. I've been blessed to know that it's always been so well received, like through years and years and years, and just like people being like, yeah, keep going, this is cool, perfect. And it's like, I mean, one just comes to mind, but I don't know, like, yeah, it's always been really good. I feel like maybe I could bring up my friend Alex once pulled me off to the side, and he's a great dude. Just the coolest artist. I should have added him to my list of people earlier.
That's we will retroactively add that back
cut this in.
Asterisk.
Alex. No, my friend Alex was, he pulled me off to the side one day and was just like, I don't like your art, but I think it's cool. And it's like one of those things where a hard truth of like, it's not for him. And that's awesome. It was like the most honest truth ever that wasn't given before that. And I talk about that a lot because it really opened up my eyes of like, oh, not everybody will like this.
Right.
As an artist, your ego can talk to you and be like, everybody like this, I like it. And you don't think past that some days. Right. And he was super real with me one day. So I guess and it was just like, hard, awesome love, because he loves he likes a lot more like abstract stuff than I do. Okay. And he makes a lot of abstract stuff that's really, really cool and that I love. And yeah, so I guess maybe that just pulled me off the side and been like, I don't like it, dude, but I think this is cool. You're doing a great job, but like me, not for me. Yeah, and I'm like,
love the honesty.
Yeah, honestly, it's refreshing because so many people you just hear all the time. Oh, it's great, it's great. You know,
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, be real. You know.
Yeah, and I appreciate it for that. I love him for that. Yeah. So, but yeah, other than that, I couldn't come up with one earlier. That just came to me. I really couldn't do it. So I'm glad that came to me.
Then you're doing something right. I have to say.
Yeah. I think you're on the right track.
Usually, usually when we ask this question, usually it's a negative thing or it's something. I mean, the way we ask it, it doesn't have to be, but oftentimes it is.
Yeah, I could see where it turns into that. I just negative stuff just really doesn't stick to me. If it's negative, if it's negative stuff about the stuff I love, then it's like,
I'm not gonna remember.
Yeah.
Haters be gone.
Yeah, and you're one out the other. Yeah, so it's all good.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at our final question already.
Cool.
Doesn't mean it's the end of the show. We'll chat for a while.
Oh yes, definitely.
But final question: what are some of your thoughts about the local art community? Strengths and weaknesses. Ways to improve.
Yeah, like I said, I'm such a critic. It's such a scary question to answer. I don't know if I necessarily have any. I've always felt like it's been hard to tap into. That's my honest truth. I've lived here all my life, and somehow, like, you guys, which kudos to you guys just doing this. This is so cool. Yeah. Like, this is new. This is really, like, there needs to be stuff like this around here. For how much people say that they support local art, it's like, this is one of a kind for some reason. Like, why, which is awesome, I'm so happy that you guys are doing it and asking thoughtful, provoking questions and being present. Like, you guys have your sheets out with questions and my artwork on it and my picture. I mean, that's so cool. Like, I don't see anybody else doing stuff like that. And it's like, why doesn't that stuff exist when there should be more opportunity for people to tap in and just have a place to speak and to, I don't know, showcase their work in a different way. I mean, like, social media is huge right now. Why isn't there something? Not that I'm one to have any ideas to fix it, but it's something like that. And I've always felt that it's hard to tap into for whatever reason. I don't know what can fix that. I don't know why. I just have felt that way. And thanks for this. This is cool.
I 100% get what you're talking about. And yes, we were blushing very hard on this end. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when Shelby was like, why don't we do a podcast about the local art community? And I'm like, well, there probably is one already. And there really kind of isn't, like you said. So it's like, okay, I guess we got to do it now.
Yeah. I think I don't know. It's really cool. And I think there's also, I wanted to talk about the fact that it's like, there's not a place for kids to play shows. I think that was one thing. I totally switch in topics. Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off.
100%. And then that came up during Tim's episode.
Yeah, going to second gear. But yeah, like being in a band since I've been, 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there. It's like, you can't go play a bar. You can't do these things. And not that my band now plays bars, really.
Right. But for like younger kids.
But still, it's like there shouldn't be just like, I don't know, kids come up with ways, and that's great. There are house shows. I mean, like, I love house shows. I mean, that's phenomenal. I've played tons of them. But like, so kids will find a way, but it's like, listen to the kids. Like, they want a space, and they want a space to hang out and be safe at. And like, and to give that to them is huge. And it's like, there's something about just having, I think the Port might have times during the day where they have bands that aren't of age to drink play. I don't want to, if that gets them in trouble, that's false news. I don't know. I've just,
allegedly.
You're making stuff up.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, then that's the case. I just follow a dude who's in a band around here, and he played a show there. And he was like, and he talked about this on a story. He's like, I wish there were more places for me to play. Right. And I was just like, I felt that way at your age, dude. Yeah. So something like that, man. I just think there should be, I mean, if we're really about supporting the arts, it's like, listen to the kids and see what they want, and also see what they're doing. Like, like the kids are, I say the kids, like I'm old, dude, but like truly, like this, there's like an emerging scene every couple years, right? And it's like, what are they doing? what can the city do for them and to put them on a platform, because they're the future. I mean, truly, like they're going to dictate what your art looks like in the city for the next couple of years. And and that's the same thing. And it's like at that age, I was frustrated with it. I would probably come home and tell my mom like, why isn't anybody looking? Like, why can't I go on a podcast? Like, why can't I do these things? You know, and I didn't say it directly, but those kinds of things, you know, and it's like, why can't I, why do I have a major achievement and I don't get something in the Kenosha News? You know, it's like, why does it just have to live on my Instagram? Like, it shouldn't be like that. Like, if we really celebrate arts, we should really celebrate all age ranges, and that especially includes the people that need it the most, and that's kids who need to be inspired. And it's like, imagine being a 18, 19, 20-year-old who's an artist who didn't go to art school, but he's doing fun things. They're doing good things, and somebody recognizes them on a larger platform and says, "Hey, let's just celebrate this kid real quick." It's like, that's huge, and I wish there was more of that, because at least I don't see it. And that's what, and it ties back into, it feels hard to tap into for some reason, and I've always been frustrated with it. So I can only imagine other people are.
I 100% see where you're coming
That's
from.
my rant.
Yeah.
No, we love that.
Preach. Yeah.
And it's like I know a handful of younger people that I feel like I could give to you guys that you guys would love to talk to. And it's like that kind of stuff is super super important. And I think, like I said, you guys are doing it. So yeah, it's cool.
Thank you. And you're right. It can be stifling sometimes to be doing what you consider to be great and what is considered to be great, and not have it re-recognized. Just because you haven't been doing it for 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like some people would look at that. It was like, oh, you haven't proved yourself. Well, it's like, how would I have been able to do that? You know?
Exactly.
I'm only like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is also something to be said about, like I said earlier, what motivates you is like, there's hunger inside of somebody where it's like, when they don't get recognized, like that can drive them, but it's few and far between sometimes.
And it should be a fine line. I mean,
yeah. And so it's like, to give someone that is great, is necessary.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So support your local artists of
truly
all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. Go to your friend shows. Go to your homie shows. Even if you're uncomfortable. I mean, like, dude, that's one thing that like people would say all the time is like, I want to go to your show, but I'm like scared I won't fit in, or if I don't have friends, or like, dude, just go. It's fun. Like, and plus your homie should welcome you into that space. I mean, like if you're going to see your friend's band, that friend should introduce you to people too. Like it should be, I mean, for the most part, 99% of the time, those places are so welcoming and so open, and
if they're not, you probably don't want to be part of that anyway.
Don't want to be there. Yep. And you'll know. And then you can tell your friend, hey, so, you know, it should be addressed. But yeah, go to your homie shows, buy a t-shirt, buy their sticker pack, whatever it is. And I'm lucky enough to say that people have. And I think that's so crucial to give back, especially if you're an artist too. I mean, life's a circle, you know, it's all karma. So it's like, if you're an artist and people are supporting you, turn it back around. And, you know, I always say, like, if you're making money from your art, take a little bit of it and throw it to somebody else. It's like, if someone bought one t-shirt from you, buy another one from a homie that you've been sleeping on for a little bit, and turn it around. And I've seen like real visceral results from that, which are so crazy. Like I remember the first time I really saw it, I bought this dude's art. It was a couple prints, and then I paid him to do like an original piece for me. And it was like, I was like 18 or whatever. And it was like all the money I had. It was like, you know, $150, $200 or whatever. And I gave it to him, and then literally I bought it. I got it in the mail, and then that day I got paid for something else the exact same amount. And I was like, that's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's kind of the energy that you have to give towards it. So yeah, definitely support your friends and your artists around you. And it comes back, you know, especially if you're an artist too.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about popping those bubbles. Sometimes we get in our own little spheres of like
clicks and,
So maybe take a moment to pop that bubble, step outside, explore. Because I get asked a lot about how I got involved with Lemon Street. I started coming to receptions and being in the environment. They welcomed me. I was an instructor here, and just basically getting involved, and they're gonna welcome you. So we're not.
It's funny that people would be hesitant, because you look at artists conventionally, we're very friendly, welcoming, weird people. And it's like, it's like we're hopefully for the most part, not very non-judgmental.
Yeah.
And so
there's more in common than you think.
Yeah.
Entirely. And that's when it's like, when people are hesitant to go into a punk show, it's like, you do realize you're surrounded by people who have been outcasted.
You can be intimidated, but it's welcoming. At least it should be.
Entirely.
And even in the Bryce's episode, what?
Love your community.
Love your community. Sorry, I blanked on that.
Yeah.
On that episode, he talked about how when he was putting on their event, they went and talked to some people with the city and stuff like that, and they had a very positive reception. They thought
I love that.
They wouldn't, but they did because it's good for everybody. We want to have a cool event.
And Bryce and Kate are both huge proponents of that ideology. They're huge. So. Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
Shout out to you guys.
Yes.
For real, always.
Love your community.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, that's huge, and I don't know what else can what can happen here. I want it to be the best it can, and I hope that I just hope that the kids can be given a little bit more platform, because it's a lot of not that there's anything wrong with people that are older, but I don't know how it phases into that next part if those people are still not giving those kids a platform, because then there's this huge gap of time that doesn't exist. So so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, and I think with that lack of support you get kind of in between your 20s and 30s, where you're not pursuing it, you're not doing it because you didn't have that early age encouragement. You find it later in life, and then you're like, oh man, why didn't I do this sooner? It's just, and it's not all your fault. You didn't have a support system to have you doing shows and doing things like that. So let's kind of just reach out to people and be like, hey, keep going, keep making. So
and I don't know, I don't want to talk out of pocket here, and because I don't know what the Lemon Street Gallery what their guidelines are and everything, but I've always thought that showing your work sometimes it depending on what it obviously is, sometimes it bums me out that it costs so much money to do that, and I don't know what that takes to change, but I love, I remember my friend works at Public Brewing, and he reached out and he was like, if you ever want to do a show here, let me know. And I'm like, cool, how much does that cost? How much do you want per percentage? Or he's like, nothing, just put your art up. And I was like, okay, that's amazing. And it's I feel like that's how it should be. Now, you guys are an art gallery, it's very different. Obviously if someone needs to pay for this, that's very proper.
Yes.
That's very cool. And you can plug it if you want, but it's very that's, I think, a totally different situation. So I guess that's why I say I don't want to speak out of pocket. But as far as showcasing maybe your art in a corner of somewhere that's not traditionally somewhere for art, it's I think that shouldn't necessarily cost money. It's because if that person wants to support you, well, that's support. You shouldn't be asking for more out of that person. So I don't know. It's just very, but I have no solution for it at the end of the day. It's just something that bugs me. And it's not subject to here. It's subject to everywhere in life.
Right.
So being a nonprofit, we do ask our artists for dues, and it's $250 for the whole year. So that breaks down to about $20 a month, roughly.
That's a great price.
Yeah.
Realistically, that's great.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And we've been around for 23 years, so we've got our selling history. And then we only require 10 hours of volunteer hours for the whole
cool.
year.
Nice.
So
it's a full circle thing.
Yep. So that you're participating,
helping other artists, and
well, that makes a lot of
part
sense.
Of the cycle,
and I didn't know that, so that's why it's that's so sweet, and that's obviously you guys are a way different establishment than but paying sometimes a huge rental fee per month, $100 or whatever, just it's how is that really doable for some people, or and then on top of that they're taking more percentages and all these things, and it's at what point is someone just robbing an artist? And that bums me out. And that goes for, like I said, it's not just local. It's small communities in general will do that because maybe they're just, I don't know, they're just thinking about it maybe a little bit too businessy.
Yeah.
And that's fair. That's
totally
fair.
Exclusionary. And especially with younger people, I think there has to be a way to step in.
Totally. Especially with younger people who might not have that money to, it's money to front that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. So Yeah, those are my hot takes. I got a lot of them.
Yeah. Much appreciated.
Yeah, of course.
But we totally see that with the Kenosha art market that's been growing over the years, and we love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever gonna raise our booth prices because it's just
people are shocked when they find out how
it's only
inexpensive
$25 a day to have a booth there, or
Oh,
$100 for the whole season.
That's
so
cool.
$100 for 5 days.
5, you get
Yeah.
one free basically.
And
not
that
bad.
was our main goal, was making it accessible to artists. And just why do we need to charge an arm and a leg for
No.
this if we
Yeah.
grow it and make it big, self-sustaining in that sense, and just give back to people to give them an opportunity to
That's
showcase.
nice.
So
25
Yeah.
is, if you're doing something like that, not to be the guy, the judge and the jury for it, but you should be able to make that back if you're doing something
You're
like that.
gonna.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not bad.
gonna.
Yeah, 25.
It's well
25's
attended.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. And even if so, that's at this point, that's your trip to McDonald's. So it's
Yeah.
like $25 is nothing.
I was gonna say with inflation nowadays.
Yeah, $25 is nice. So that's cool.
yes.
I like that.
definitely
That's
over
awesome.
here we try and keep that in mind. So
I love it. That's cool.
we're a non-traditional art gallery. People, when they hear art gallery, they're like, oh gosh,
We're not stuffy.
wine and
Yeah.
fancy clothes and cheeses and whoa, no,
I'm
thank
wearing
you.
flip flops.
Yeah,
Flip-flops and graphic tees. Yeah. I love it.
literally. So we're kind of like this medium. We meet in the middle. We have the nice, wonderful, talented people and artists that are involved with us, but just the environment overall is more chill,
Cool.
more accepting. Yeah, just kind of come as you are type of environment.
I love
so.
it. Yeah, as it should be. And as you guys are obviously displaying with the fact that you guys are running a podcast out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is right there. It's It's in the what do they say? The footprint is in the pudding. What is it?
Proof is in the
The
pudding.
proof is in the pudding. Yeah. I always think of like a little mouse or something in the pudding.
Stepped in the pudding.
But is in the pudding. I like that.
Maybe you don't want to eat that pudding. But,
I always think of like you give a
mouse a cookie.
mouse a cookie. Yeah. A moose a muffin. Or, whatever it is. Yeah.
I don't know that,
That's
but
That's what I tie it into.
Yes, gotcha.
That's funny.
So where can people find you?
On Instagram at Mike V _G. And that is a V. Some people think it's a Y. But I am not Mikey. It is
not
Mike.
Mikey.
Yeah.
the _G.
Yes. Yeah. Mike V _G at Instagram. That's really the only place. And if you want to read my tweets about my hot takes about albums and music because that's all I really tweet about, and hot takes about maybe the weather. My Twitter is the same. My Twitter is the same, but you don't need to follow me on Twitter. It's just me.
I want to
Jake's
hear those
gonna.
other hot takes.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mike knows, but I'm a meteorologist.
Oh, no way. Sick. Oh, they're not like that. Yeah.
That's why I want to know. I'm a weather nerd. I need to know.
No, it's just like it's me swearing about it snowing or something.
Yes,
That's-
very common. I hear that plenty.
It's just me talking.
You should see the
crap.
comment section on my weather page
my goodness.
when
I
it
will.
snows. Ugh.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
You
Jake's
got the
Kenosha.
weather wrong again. Jesus.
Jake's Kenosha area weather page on Facebook if you want to yell at me about it
Oh,
snowing.
yeah. I love it. Did you get today right? It's nice out today.
I think I did. Yeah, and it rained this morning, not snowed.
Yeah.
That was last Monday.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
but
yeah.
no, yeah,
Did you get that right last Monday?
yeah. Actually, I didn't.
Hey, okay, Jake. Let's go. I love it.
I do okay. I'm also on Instagram at Kenosha Weather.
Ay.
All right,
That's a great handle.
I got it somehow. I never plug this, so I
Yeah,
will
go for
tag it on the end of the
The
episode.
Go
Kenosha
for it,
weather.
yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
And there's also MikeV-G.com.
Yes, you can see my portfolio there. Yeah, and all the artists that I've worked with that I feel like I need a showcase.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's a fun one.
We didn't talk a lot about your photography, but oh my goodness, it is stunning.
Thank you.
Stunning. We've got a little show coming up in February about I'll kind of lightly plug it.
Do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, let's talk about it.
We've got a show coming up for February that we're partnering with Love Your Community, and it's basically going to be a love letter to Kenosha.
Oh,
So
nice.
artwork based on like places, people, and things that you love about your community.
Nice.
And
I
that
love that.
Oliver's Bakery one. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. That's the first one I took.
That
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
it is amazing,
Thank
and
you.
I could see it in the show.
I would love to do something
So,
like that.
Yes,
yeah, I would love to print it. It's funny taking photos of people's houses. No one knows. Yeah. I'm waiting.
I was half expecting to see my house on there.
Dude, that's what I kind of want, right? Like I kind of want people to be like, oh, yo, like I go by the neighborhood ghost on Instagram for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say plug that too.
Yes.
Neighborhood ghost.
Yeah, it's neighborhood ghost, and I want people to be like, oh, the ghost took a photo of my house. You know, I want that to be a thing, but.
Got
Yeah,
ghosted.
it is. Yeah, exactly.
If you're ever gonna take a photo of my house, let me know so I mow the lawn the day before. I don't want it looking shabby.
Nope. Nope.
Oh man.
Nope. We're taking that. They're candidates. I will say, I know we're running out of time, but it feels taking a photo of a house is much like taking a candid of a human, and it's like most. Sometimes it is very emotional. It feels. I've never connected to photography like the way I have with houses, and it's so strange. And like sometimes you just stand in front of a house and you're like, you feel a little weird. Like they really do carry a lot of energy and a lot of weight to them. And sometimes I don't take a photo of a house if I feel a little icky.
Okay.
You know, it's very, and that's why it's like so candid. It's so like visceral. And it's like sometimes you take a photo of a house and at that same moment a light turns off, and it's like this. It's just this weird connection you have for like this. Standing in front of it, especially in the winter, it's cold and it's just this, it's quiet and yeah, it's a really weird experience sometimes, but I think it comes through with at least the ones I post. I take hundreds of a night when I go out. I just take long walks and but usually like one will come from it, and that's like one. And I know like I'll see a house, I'll look at a bunch of things, be like, that's cool, and then the ones that I take photos of are like, they do something to me. Yeah. And that's how that's how I know. So it's a lot of fun.
So maybe my house is in the back catalog.
It might be. I don't know where your house is, but
we're not going to say it on air.
Yeah. No. Don't even tell me. I will photograph it someday, and then but yeah, I've only had one message though that was, hey, that's my house, and she was really excited about it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she was a homie, but still, it was just like, oh my god, yeah, that's my car, you know. So
there's
fun.
There's always this energy you capture with them, like with the lighting or just like the angle that you're at. There's so many things where I
thank you.
And I love the snow. I'm a big snow guy.
Oh my God,
I'm a winter guy, so I
go polar bear.
Yes.
I've turned into a winter guy because of these. I think.
Yeah.
It's like something about it does something a little different. It's something that I've always been looking for, I think, in snow, because I've hated snow my entire life. But I do love snow now.
So your weather tweets now are like, why isn't it snowing?
Actually, it is about that. Realistically, yeah. It's more so like,
this house would look better with an inch of snow on it.
Yeah, it truly does. I think everything does look a little better with some snow on it. So yeah. So
well, go check Mike out and all of his amazing stuff that he does,
and support him. Buy his stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Merch. Get it.
Yeah. It's few and far between these days, but when I do it, I hope it's at least exciting. So yeah.
And one more thing I gotta say, I'm ideas left and right today.
No, hit me with it.
I love the prompts that you've been doing on TikTok of just like picking people and just be like, hey, if I did a shirt of them, what would it look like?
Yeah, thank you.
That was just so cool.
Can't believe we almost didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Very cool idea.
Thank you.
Yes, just to kind of pluck the artist and capture them in a shirt.
Yeah, it stems from the Avenged Sevenfold thing, because a lot of people, without even knowing the band, were like, oh, cool. Like, what? Like, why would it look like this? You know, and I think it turned heads no matter what. And obviously, my fandom for them has been synonymous with me for so long, but it's still, I think people still resonated with it. And so when I started doing the TikToks, I was like, what lane can I really find with this? Because I don't want to do like graphic design tips, and I don't want to do like, which are great, I just can't do them. You know, it's not for me.
Everyone,
yeah. And it's like, because I have very unconventional, talked about ways of doing things. So I was like, all right, what can I do? And yeah, I will say they take a lot of time, so I haven't done one in a while. But
I would imagine.
Yeah, but
TikToks are hard.
Yeah, but like there's the one that I did that got a little traction, was the last one that was the Dua Lipa one, and like the image that I used for it was taken from a video that she had posted, and the guy who filmed that commented, was like, yo, this is from my video. You know, it's like things like that I just live for. Like I'm just like, that's what I want, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Then that's the connection done. That's all I need. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a really fun lane to be in because I don't see it too often, and sometimes I do in a little, or I see it like guys being like, if I started a hot dog brand, and like that's super fun too. But like I was like, let's look at the people that I would love to work with and just just do it. Yeah, and Jack Harlow, Dua Lipa, and Turnstile, all three of them. That's it was top of my list right now. And MGK.
Oh yeah.
That's the one that I want to do next. That's when I'm sitting on that one.
I could definitely see a cool one with that.
Yeah, I feel like I'd get along with him in general. So he's next.
So people can follow you on TikTok too.
If they want, it's the same. It's the same handle, Mike V_G.
You know it.
Yep.
So yeah, go do all that. We're gonna wrap up this episode.
You want to do one more hour? We can just do a quick one more hour.
Yeah, let's come on, one more hour.
Not do anything.
But you could follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the ArtSpace Podcast. You can get us wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, you will probably find us. And if you can leave like a rating, a like, a subscribe on whatever platform you are viewing us on or listening to us, that would be wonderful and help us out. And shout out to Would You Kindly for doing our intro and outro music. Love you guys. And I think that about wraps it up for this episode.
Sweet.
And we will see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Depression, addiction, the thrill that you seek. Our restlessness cages the fire we need. We're here to inspire.